Alonsa,
Yes.
hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Come on over to the middle of the
Sorry.
screen so I can see you.
Yes. There we go. 1 second.
No worries.
Good?
We're good. Man, it's great to finally meet
Nice.
you.
Same here. Yeah, so excited.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to have you on. Your work is just extraordinary. I absolutely love it. I've been following you for a long time. It's just beautiful stuff.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for reaching out.
Of
I was
course.
listening to your podcast since you invited me, and I can't believe, I can't believe like such a awesome group of artists that you have. I know a couple, so it was exciting
Oh, yeah, I'm
to,
really
to
lucky.
be one more.
Yeah, I'm really lucky to have had such a lineup. It's crazy. It's wild. So are you in Chile right now?
Yes,
You
yes, I'm in
are.
Santiago. Yeah,
No kidding. And that's where you're born and raised?
exactly. Yes, I was born here and then I was raised in Ecuador for
Okay.
like for my childhood, I would say half of my childhood. And I came back here like when I was 12
Mm-hmm.
to study. I lived here until I graduated from undergrad and then I moved to the US. And I just came back 3 months ago, 4 months now,
No kidding. So
actually. Yeah.
where did you live in the US?
I moved first to Connecticut for
Really?
2 years. I was
Why?
there, yeah, 2 years. I wanted to do my master in fine arts in New
Okay.
York, somewhere in New York. And I had a couple of schools that I looked up to. And first, I really wanted to see it in person and see if it was worth it. Meet some artists. So I went, and my English was like horrible. I mean, you can still hear my
No,
accent.
it's
And
so
I
good. I was
lived
going
in
to
the
ask you
US
about
for
that.
like, no, I lived in the US for many years, like almost 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I didn't speak any English or anything, so I moved there first, and then I did my master program at the New York Academy of Art.
No kidding.
And after that, I just stayed. Yeah.
Wow. So what about your childhood? What led you up to
Mhm.
becoming an artist? Is that something you've always wanted to do or?
No, no, it wasn't something. I mean, I always wanted to make art. I
Mm-hmm.
always did it like as a game, as like a an activity to spend my time, and I really enjoyed it. But as a career, I didn't think about becoming an artist maybe until I was almost about to decide what to choose for undergrad. So maybe at 17, I started thinking about it as a career. But before that, I loved it. I used to go to competitions and I would join the extracurricular class for art.
Mm-hmm.
I would paint with my grandmother since very young. When I was 12, I painted my first oil painting.
Really?
That is hilarious. It's great.
Really? What
I
was
would
it
love to show
of?
you. It was the very first one was it was a copy of little image that I found in a newspaper. There was a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
It was just a dog and a cat, and then I made up like a city, like a night city. In the background, there was nothing in the picture, but it was like
I
like
wish I could
buildings with
see it.
like lights. Yeah, I don't know where it is actually. I have pictures of it, but it's funny because when I moved to New York, I would
Mm-hmm.
look back to that first painting of like cats and dogs, and I was like impressed by the city that I didn't grow up in a city at all, but that was my first painting. I don't know why I painted it, but then I joke that since then I knew that I wanted to move to New
It
York.
was prophecy. You just
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's funny, but yeah,
Hmm.
I love to paint since very young. Like drawing was my first love with graphite, like simple drawings. And
Huh.
with that was when I knew that I could copy something more realistically
Yeah.
with my drawing classes in school.
Mm-hmm.
And but oil paint was something that I play with more like with things from imagination more than copying. The very first one I did it like that just because my grandmother taught me that you need to look at something to be able to make,
Mm-hmm.
to paint and to learn. So we copy a bunch of things first, but anytime I painted by myself, that was most of the time, I will do imaginary landscapes, very colorful things, people flying, I don't know,
As a
fishes
kid, you
jumping
mean?
over the water when I was, yeah,
When you
I was
okay.
about like 13, 14. And all my, I don't know, my teenager years, I would say, I'll do that.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I entered the school, like my undergrad, I started copying, doing still life and portraits. Um, and I realized that I was able to do the same that I did with drawing, but with paint as well.
So
So
what was
yeah.
it that happened at 17 that made you decide you were going to try and do this as a career?
Yeah, well, a couple of things happened. First of all, I wanted to study. I mean, when I thought about studying art, everyone in my family was very supportive. They were like, they loved the fact that I was talented. They could see that. But um, monetarily speaking, economically speaking, here in Chile, it's very difficult to make a living of just being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an artist, usually people here teach
Mm-hmm.
or do commissions of some kind that somebody tells them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was hard in that way. But when I was 15, I started joining these competitions that I was telling you. And I was getting prizes and I started painting my little paintings, like more decorative. I would see what things sold. And I started making like a little business out of it, selling things for Christmas. I still remember one of the competitions was to paint a live painting in a beautiful site here in the place that I was born in Rancagua. That it was a mine, like a miner city that was abandoned and it's like a national like heritage place. And we were live painting there. So in this particular competition, there were like pretty good prizes for like 15-year-old kids. So one of the first prize was a trip to Machu Picchu.
Really?
Um,
I've always wanted to go
yes,
there.
amazing, right? And imagine back then, like I was 15, I'm 39 now,
Yeah.
38, I'm about to be 39. So it was an amazing gift. But the thing is that it was a prize for the student that won the award and the teacher, both of them. And my teacher was a male, and my family would never let me go with this, older guy to Machu Picchu. So I knew that, and my family didn't have the money also to be like, oh, don't worry, we'll join you. Like it wasn't like it was out of the picture. So I was like, I want to like win something that would be like great. Just not the first prize. And the second prize was a computer, like a Pentium 4 computer, like those big ones, old ones. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have one in the house. We didn't have one. And the third one was like materials and other cool stuff, a lot of prizes. So I was very surprised to see because my painting wasn't like a realistic painting at all. It was, and there were like really good guys, like, and girls also painting like the miners, like their faces from imagination and like this beautiful city perfectly painted. And mine was more like kind of like falling off and more imaginary, like the feeling that the place gave me, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And and I got the second prize. I was like
Really?
so happy. And the first prize was the amazing realistic guy that totally deserved it. And since then I was like, wow, I can do this. Like I promise, Jeff, I never thought I would win that. Never. No, I wasn't even like hopeful. I was just like, oh, this is cool. They give me some lunch and like a trip. It was fine. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think that would happen. And then I started seeing myself, like trusting myself more, like feeling more confident about, I don't know if they were my skills because I didn't have like such a strong skill set in that time maybe, but I had the passion. I did it often and I was creative always. Like I came up with ideas and things. Maybe my toolkit wasn't like so good at back then. But yeah, then I was like, yeah, I can do it. And I started making paintings that I thought they were beautiful and that somebody will want to buy them. So it was more about like finding beauty in things, making something more maybe decorative. And then I started painting this more abstract things for people to buy. And I started doing my little business.
That's
And then,
wild.
yeah,
Isn't it
yeah,
amazing
you
how
should.
just one little success gives you the confidence to keep moving?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's impressive. Really, that's like the thing that changed my mindset. I wanted to be a psychologist, an engineer, anything. I was really good at math before, before. Now I
Yeah, not
haven't done
anymore.
any
You just
number.
didn't.
I just divide things in half,
Yeah.
basically. But I was really good at math, so I wanted to be maybe an engineer. I knew that that would make money, but I couldn't imagine myself doing that for the rest of my life. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. And then my older brother, is a doctor, so
Hmm.
he studied medicine 3 years before I went to college. He joined medicine, but like my family didn't have the money again to pay for it, so he had a scholarship. And then I was like, well, it's my turn. My family doesn't have the money to pay for it, so I can do whatever I want because, anyways, I need a scholarship or a loan. And I'm
Hmm.
the one that's going to pay for it. So I'm going to choose whatever I want. And my family was like, yeah, it's your money and your life. You choose whatever you want, and you probably will be good at it. So go for it. So everybody was supportive, and I did get my scholarship thanks to my math score. Because surprisingly, here
You
in
got it.
Chile,
Wait a
like
minute. You
half,
got a scholarship to study art based on your math
yeah,
score?
yes, yes.
What?
It's weird because
Yeah,
here
that
to
is weird.
study, I study in one of the best schools here in Chile, and
Hmm.
for some reason, they ask you for like your school grades. They ask you for there's three tests that you have to take for arts, which is language, history, and math.
Hmm.
and um, and then your scores in school. And 50% of what they asked was math. And from
Really?
the whole test, I got one wrong. So
Dang, you
imagine,
are
like my
good at
score
math.
was really high. It was really high, yeah. So then I was there, but phew, they will ask me about history and like to write essays, and I was like I don't know, I don't know. It was not good for me. The other tests were like okay, but not as good as I was in math. And but then I did really good in school, and I loved it. So I was passionate about doing homeworks, and I was all in school. My history tests were not as good, but the rest I was like, yeah, I
Huh.
did it good. And then I got other scholarships like during school for being like the best of the class, for instance. And then they will give me a scholarship during that will decrease my loan that I had. And so at the end, I paid my school immediately. As soon as I finished, I paid my loans um, just immediately after that, thanks to my classes that I was teaching and the little paintings that I will sell during
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
It's interesting that I'm thinking about you being good at math. You might be the first. I mean, I know you're not the only artist, but you might be the first one I've spoken to
Hmm.
that considered engineering and was good at math and went into art because I'm also pretty good at math and science.
Hmm.
Those are and I'm also suck at
Yeah.
history because my memory's not that great. So
Same.
yeah, but math and science, those are my subjects. And
Me too. Me too.
yeah,
And science wasn't in part of the picture. I was
yeah,
so pissed because biology, chemistry, like even physics I was better at, and
that's
biology,
yeah,
like
same.
chemistry not that much. It was too like I don't
Well, because
know. For
biology is
me, it wasn't.
memorization, right? It's like history in a way. You have to
Yeah,
memorize
chemistry.
everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. For me, well, biology or chemistry, you mean?
Biology. When I
Oh
took
yeah.
biology in college, it
Hmm.
was brutal. I'm good at
Yeah.
physics and all the other sciences, but biology,
Uh-huh.
you just had to memorize the names of everything. And I was like,
Really?
this class is the
Uh,
worst. I could not memorize everything.
That's so funny. For me, it was the opposite. I like physics because it was all math.
Yeah.
Chemistry I didn't like because it was just like too little for me, like too invisible, all the things. But biology I loved because it was like evolution and the body, and I love to learn about like I don't know the anything like the digestive system, anything really, like all our system, like our brain. When we started learning about the brain and the
Hmm.
nervous system, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh,
Like the
see, I had a
axons
bad
and the.
teacher. That's the thing
Mhm.
about school, it really depends on your experience. My teacher, because I only had one biology class in college, but it was literally just putting up a projector or projecting something on the screen, like a cell, and then arrows pointing to the cell and just definitions. And that's all we did. We didn't talk about how things worked. It was just like, here
Yeah.
are the definitions you need to memorize, know it for the test.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
it was
that's
brutal. I'm
crazy.
like, this is not
Yeah.
even fun at all.
Oh, yeah, I get. I
Yeah.
my teacher actually was very good at drawing, and she will
No
draw like
kidding.
the cells, like this is the mitochondria, and she will start doing it like now you draw, and I was like, yeah, like everything the cells she would do like from the dendrite to the axon, like all the, and then I could visualize it in our body. Like she will have a lot of pictures and visuals, and it was more like about examples, like of things that
Mm-hmm.
happened to us and why it happened, or like I don't know, like examples of like people that lose their memory or hit their heads and then they stop seeing, so where is the our visual
Oh
part
man,
is
she
in this
sounds
part of the
great.
brain, like stuff like that. It's, I don't know, I thought it was fine,
Oh,
but
I
yeah, I'm the
love
same
that
like you.
stuff. Yeah.
History I couldn't, I was just like I would, he was, I don't know, the teacher would talk about some war or something and my head would just wander in that war, and then my story would be like in my head and I would lose all the other information.
Yeah, that's too funny. Yeah, I took the
Yeah.
ACTs. Do you know what the ACTs are?
No,
Okay, so it's a
no.
placement test. It's a test we take in
Okay.
America. I mean, I don't even know if they do it anymore. I'm 50 now, but 30 years ago,
Okay.
we took a test to get into college,
Hmm.
and they're called the ACTs. It's a placement test.
Hmm.
So I
Oh, okay.
took
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
The first two sections were math and science, if I remember correctly. And then the last section was reading and reading comprehension.
Hmm.
And I got through the math and science relatively quickly. And then about all of a sudden, the bell went off. And I realized that after I finished the science section, I had noticed someone playing soccer outside the window and was watching him kick a ball for an hour and a half
Oh
and
my
just
God.
daydreaming during the entire reading section.
Oh,
And so I just, because I was interested in math and science, I finished that. But once I started having to read about stuff I couldn't care less about, all I did
yeah.
was stare out the window. And then the alarm went off and I'm like, I've been daydreaming for an hour and a half.
That's hilarious. I feel so connected to you. I promise you, I'm the same way. Daydream is like my strength. It's
It's
until this
brutal.
day. It's like yeah,
That's too
till
funny.
today. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you find
That's why I
that?
have to listen.
No,
Was that?
go ahead, go ahead.
No, that's why I have to like listen to like something sometimes when I'm painting, because
Yeah,
I feel
same.
like I get more distracted sometimes. Like, of course, I love to paint without anything, even music, but I have to be in the right mindset. If not, I start like daydreaming about whatever, like my life, my past life, future, any an
Same.
existent person, like anything, and then I'm like, okay, let's just listen to something and focus more. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's wild. So, do you find that being good at math and engineering ever helps you in your work?
I don't know if it helps me or not. I think that it's just maybe a way of thinking, but I would say maybe I'm more organized, but I don't really know. I don't think about that so often. I
Hmm.
think the math, what I liked about the math, uh, and that I think I was good at is because I like solving problems. I like seeing, like, I don't know, I have to find X and then like how do we do it to find that number? I don't know, like that kind of thing. But I like that. I like to solve problems when they come, like if I have an idea and I want to know, I want to figure it out. It's just that.
Yeah.
Maybe in art is something similar. Like there's something to that you want to portray or to make, and then things are not working out and you just try like different combinations. It's like similar to math. Like if there's no memory or like a right way of doing it, there is many ways, and then you solve you find that number, or you solve the problem. So maybe that, but
Yeah.
I don't think about that. I think my math brain is absolutely dead, like for sure. I have to like practice. I now that I have a kid, I'm like, finally, I'm gonna get back to that again, because when you don't use a muscle, it just gets atrophy. Is that a word in English?
Atrophy. Yeah. Yeah.
Atrophy. Yes. So yeah, yeah, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I think maybe I'm organized, but I know a lot of people that are not good at math that are pretty organized as well. So I don't
Yeah.
know if it has so much to do with that.
I bet it does affect you. I mean, when you say math, obviously you're referring to solving equations. Well, maybe that's not so obvious, but there is a part of the brain that's a little bit
Hmm.
different that's good at solving equations. It's a different kind of problem solving than, I mean, I can't even think of it. Maybe becoming a musician or, or I can't think of
Mm,
another example, but I wonder, because your paintings are so complex. And
yeah.
I bet in the same way you organize information when you solve an equation, I bet that muscle is exercised somewhat as you organize these complex compositions. Because your stuff is really complex. I mean, lots of stuff going on.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah. You know what? Now that you say talk about being a musician, I love music before. I mean, since always, and that to my mind too. I
mm-hmm.
actually applied to arts, visual arts, then music,
Yeah.
and that was my two things that I had like in the list. Um, and maybe I loved everything about math. There was nothing within math like I love algebra. I love, I don't know, like geometry as well. So maybe that, like my compositions
Mm-hmm.
are pretty like, I don't ever use a ruler or anything like that. Only like when for instance, I want to place the figure in the middle, and as I said before, I divide it in half and I
Right.
mark like that to have like a major cross in the picture. But I do by eye. I love things that are symmetrical,
Mm-hmm.
seemingly symmetrical, not like exactly. So it's not like out of a computer, but my compositions are very like they feel pretty
Balanced.
balanced, yeah, with an
Yeah.
equilibrium within them that
Yeah.
is like mainly visual, like what I feel. So a lot of times I'm like looking, I'm like, no, this is too bright, or no, this is too I don't know, like too saturated or something. But yeah, maybe that's
Hmm.
yeah, like now you're
Yeah.
showing
I'm pulling up some of
my
your work here.
paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
pretty like
incredible.
the geometry always
Yeah,
is
look
always
at
there, I
that.
would
That's
say.
very mathematic. That geometry is a good way of putting it. Look at that
Yeah.
balance. There's got to be some crossover in the two sides of your brain. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that I really subscribe to that idea that people are either right brained or left brained. Have you heard about that whole phenomenon?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I think
yeah, for
everyone's sort of
sure.
just mixed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but it is interesting. Your mind seems balanced in the same way your paintings are, in that it seems to me that you are using some of those skills in your paintings, but maybe not. It's hard to know, I guess.
Maybe not. I wonder if I get a measuring tape and I start, measuring from like the major parts of the painting, if there is any particular like math, I don't know, repetition that happens throughout my work. I've never done it. I just, maybe when I'm dead, somebody will do it for me
But maybe not
and
even
we'll
in
find
just
something that I
skill.
didn't even know.
Maybe it's not even just a skill issue. Maybe it's just a taste issue in that
Yeah.
you like organization and balance and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
You know what I think also is that, for example, my work as well, I pretty much come up with an idea, a visual idea
Mm-hmm.
that is not a concept. It's not like a message that I want to send. No, it's more like an image, the colors, the kind of like the composition. And of course, in my subconscious, maybe I have an idea because the image is a particular thing.
Yeah.
But it's not conceptual. It doesn't have words or a story behind until I think about it more and I start making it. And then that story appears through the painting. And
So it
sometimes,
evolves.
yeah, yeah. So it's not maybe like that. It's more like that, the image, and maybe the story is something like a secondary thing. But of course, I think when I have the idea, it has a feeling, and that feeling is very important for me because It's
Hmm.
something. It's like it's like a musical piece. When you listen to it, even if you don't understand the words because you speak a different language, you can feel if it's like sad or melancholy or I don't know, like passionate. You can feel it, right? Like, and then like the lyrics go after, like, so that's what I like. My work is more like that. I think it's just the power is more in the language. I mean, on the visual language more than the story
Yeah.
after that appears afterwards.
So if that's the case, then how do these things evolve? I mean, where do they? They're so complex. And you say that you have an image that comes to your mind. Does it start sort of small, like a color or a simple composition, and it grows from there? Or do you literally just wake up in the morning and see a whole painting in your head?
It depends. It depends.
Hmm.
It's not always the same way. For example, these ones that you're showing right now, the ceremony pieces,
Mm-hmm.
these are large pieces. I have one right here that I'm working on. And that those paintings, for example, they appeared in my head as an idea of that had to do with the process and the final image. So I started painting the fruit portraits, the round paintings that you're also showing there, the half open fruits.
Yeah.
And while I was painting that, I thought like, well, I'm going to Chile in the summer because I was in New York back then. I'm going to Chile, and how awesome it would be if I go to the market where all the people sell the fruits and vegetables, and I just get like a bunch of fruits that are getting bad, like because they always throw them away or give them to the horses or the animals. So like if I just make a kind of like a ceremony, like a ceremonial um, image like that feels like if somebody is either getting buried or celebrated in some way, or it feels like an offering, something that I don't know what it is, but it will look very powerful. Like as we here in South America, we celebrate, a lot of different celebrations about the harvesting of the fruits. Like for example, I don't know, we do the vendimia, like what, because it's a wine country. So after they collect the grapes, there's a whole party. So I was thinking about those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came here and I did it. I went to the exactly like that. We got the truck, my brother and my husband and my a lot of people in my family helped me. And then we took those pictures just like that with the fruits around. It was my sister, my brother, and myself, like a family
Mm-hmm.
ceremony, the first one. And it was just an idea. And then when I saw them together and I started thinking about my family that I didn't see so often, I love them. And I was thinking of something that will keep us together forever, like this imaginary ceremony, but at the same time real, because we did everything together. Then we did a
That's
party, and
really
then
cool.
everybody was waiting for me to paint them only. That was it. But then I continued the body of work like that, and I started painting
So that was the
my
first time
other
you painted
members.
fruit?
That was the first time I painted a ceremony, but the fruits I painted those round ones before.
So
Just
the round ones were your
the
first fruits.
my very first fruits. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the very first one. I mean, if you see my work from before, I did other kind of bodies of works, and landscapes were always included, and nature was always included. I did paint other like apples and things within the other tableaus and elements, but it wasn't they were not the main characters in those paintings. So here is basically a portrait of a fruit. So they are
That's
the main
wild.
characters,
That's
and then it
interesting how
became
that
like that.
evolved. You just did one fruit, essentially, several paintings of a single fruit, which
Yes.
evolved to this entire body of work.
Yes, yes. And after that, I started painting more general, like, I mean, nature, but more general. Like I added flowers. I don't know. That one had like water around, like if she was laying on a river. And lately, I've been painting a lot of pieces that are inspired by nature, completely inspired, but more out of my head. As
Really?
my first years in
Okay, we need to pull up your work
painting.
then, because I'm
Yes,
curious
yes,
about this. So,
yeah.
oh, it's probably this stuff, right? Like right
Those
here.
stuff. Yeah, if you go to the section that says paintings,
Okay.
the first one, or it says origin stories.
This is all from imagination?
This episode is brought to you in part by Rosemary Brushes. If you're one of my listeners who's a professional artist, you're already using Rosemary Brushes. But for the rest of you, come on. Take your work a little more seriously. Stop buying the other brands. It's just not worth it. Every now and then you may get lucky and buy a good brush from another brand, but use the brand that professionals like myself are using. Go to rosemaryandco.com, link in the description or the show notes, and get yourself some quality brushes before your next painting.
This is all from imagination. I do have some references. Like in
Right.
this one,
Just so you
I
know what
didn't
a
have.
bird looks like. Yeah.
Yes, maybe yeah, maybe the birds that are particular parrots. Maybe those I had like a picture of a parrot, but the people there, for instance, there are hidden people. I didn't have
There's
references for
people in there?
those. Yeah, you can find they're like
Oh, I
women.
see it. Yeah, right there. And
So
then right
those,
here, it's like,
yeah,
where's
those
Waldo?
appear exactly. Those appear as I saw them. I would see the spots that it- I will imagine like an eye, and then I started just I like outlining the figure as I saw it
No kidding.
in the marks. Yeah, that one too. Yeah,
Yeah, and you did a similar thing here. You got figures just sort of
yeah. That painting is
hidden.
huge.
Ha-
It's really big.
So
It's
223 centimeters by 282. So it's about 10 feet by 10 feet. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than 10 feet. Yeah, it's a
Wow,
little bit
man.
bigger than 10 feet. Yeah. But yeah, it's huge.
Sheesh.
This one too is big.
How come sometimes you do it in centimeters and sometimes, oh, you have inches as well. Oh, I didn't even
Oh
see
yeah,
the inches.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha. My bad.
yeah. Sometimes I add the centimeters just when the like for instance these pieces were shown in a museum.
Yeah.
My last solo show was in the Brownsville Museum in Texas. So I added, I mean, there's mostly Mexican people, and
Right.
they know centimeters, so I just added those there. But
Yeah, well, it
usually I
makes
use
sense if
inches.
you've been working in America and in Chile. It makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys do the metric system down there in Chile, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Everything is
God, these
centimeters,
are amazing.
kilometers.
So
Thank you.
I don't know that I was familiar with this stuff. I'm mostly
Yeah,
familiar with the fruits.
yeah.
I mean,
These
technically
are
there's
my
still fruit in
new.
here, but
Yeah, there is a little bit of everything in there.
so let's take
A
this
lot.
one here. When you
Uh-huh.
get these look like lungs. Is that a coincidence?
Yes, they do. No, it's not a coincidence. And if you look carefully, it's supposed to be the sky. So I thought about
Hmm.
wings, I thought about lungs. And if you see also there are silhouettes of people within the sky that are like kind of kissing like this.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
you
That's
see that?
very
Do you get
subtle. No, once you see it, you
it's
can't
subtle.
unsee it, but it's subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like some hidden things in between. And this piece in particular, this piece actually opened a new body of work that I'm working on now, um, that is called Growing Women.
Hmm.
And they are based on paintings that I love and that I always admired and that I take out of the composition from those paintings. I wonder if you can look at this and think of the original piece.
I have
I don't
no
know,
idea.
no idea.
No, what is
So
it?
this is from the Spring of Botticelli. She's Venus.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Now I see
Well,
that. Yeah, the
it's such
pose.
a it's such a big painting with so many things going on that I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's a part of the composition. I mean, it's pretty strong. I mean, if you look at it
Hmm.
next to it, you could definitely see the similarities. It's just the
Yeah.
colors and other things. The crop is different. Um, but uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, the strength of Venus right there is like obvious. And this piece is called Growing from Fallen Lemons. So It's something that I did think as a feeling first, but I knew the image. Like I knew that I wanted to. I love that center piece of that painting of Botticelli, where Venus is not really so important. If you remember, like always is the spring, like with the flowers getting out of her hands, or the three graces, or the rape happening, or even Cupido on the top. But she's in the middle, but it's a little bit unseen for my taste, for what I feel from that
Wait,
painting.
we got to look up that painting real quick.
Yes.
I'm really
Yes.
curious about that. Okay,
Yeah,
so what's the name of the painting
please.
again?
It's called The Spring of Botticelli.
My art history is terrible, just like my history. So,
Yeah, listen, I don't judge because probably we're in the same page. Is that I love that painting. I saw it in person. I always loved it from before, and when I saw it in person, it really just blew my mind. It's
so are we
another
talking
from
about
another world.
this painting here?
Yes, yes. Please zoom in, zoom in. Look at all the
Oh
things
my
happening there.
gosh. No, I wasn't. I mean, I've seen this painting before, but it wasn't what I was imagining.
I
Look
mean,
at that. Yeah, you
because
got that whole
yeah.
that whole thing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and but if you see if you look it up, probably the images that come first, like are individual close-ups, like the three graces, the spring that is in the right side with the flowers, the
Mm-hmm.
rape that is happening all the way to to the right. So it's a lot of symbolism, but the woman in the center with the red cloth is like kind of like the Virgin, but at the same time, well, she's Venus and the powerful Venus, and then you see that they also look like lungs in there,
Yeah.
the sky. Yeah,
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's really
yeah.
cool. Oh, wait, wrong page here. Oh, did I lose your... Let me get back to your website here. I lost your website. There we go. I
Yeah.
don't know how I did that. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
interesting. So you just basically spliced out the middle and completely changed the entire color scheme.
And yes, yes. I mean, if you see the picture, there are like all the figures are very close to her, so it's a
Right.
different composition. But for people that I'm pretty sure that people that know the painting, they remember. Like I had a friend that she saw it and she was like, "Oh my God, it's so like Renaissance. I can't tell." And I was like, "Botticelli." I just said that, and she's like, "Oh my God, yes." Something like if you are familiar with it, you will know. And it's nothing hidden. I mean, I'm like absolutely using the image because I want to talk about that painting as well. So
Right.
yeah. And
Wow.
then I paint from imagination the things. I look up some things, but I have a clear idea of where the light come from, and like more like a more it's more about maybe the drawing itself that and what and the for instance the types of flowers that I include in there. That painting, the spring has like more than 200, close to 200 species of plants inside. But here I'm adding like the ones that my mom uses always in her gardens. My mom she used to do gardening before.
Mm-hmm.
So a picture, it's a painting about her. She's a resilient woman, and so she's growing after those fallen lemons there.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Thanks.
Ah, man, the colors are just so rich. So technical question, because your
Yes.
colors are so rich, although they are
Mhm.
relatively primary and secondary colors. Do you
Mhm.
have a large palette, or are you working on pretty limited palette?
Oh, yes. I mean, large as a size? No, it's a tiny palette. But yes, my palette is pretty big. I do use a lot of colors, different colors. Almost always the same ones. But yeah, I have a thing. It's basically two colors. It's like a warm and a cool yellow, a
Mm-hmm.
warm and a cool red, like that. But I do for reds, I use a lot of them because like I have paintings with watermelons, red peaches, strawberries, like all of these things, and I need to make the difference between them. So it cannot be like
I
one
wondered about
red
that.
or two
Yeah.
reds. So yes, yeah.
Because your colors are
Um,
so saturated and chromatic. I assumed you must have a lot of colors on your palette.
yes, I do have, but for this one, I don't think I had.
No, this one
It's
doesn't
this
seem
one.
so much. Yeah.
No, it's like lemon yellow, like I don't know, a cadmium yellow.
But look
But
at
the
all
reds,
these reds.
yes, the reds, yeah. I have from like cadmium red to like alizarin crimson and quinacridone red. The reds that I use the
Quinacridone red or
most,
quinacridone magenta?
no, quinacridone red. I do have
I didn't even know
quinacridone
that color
magenta
existed.
also. Yeah, the quinacridone red is like
What brand
one
is
of my
that?
main colors. I have from Mgram, Gamblin, and Williamsburg. I have three
Okay.
of the three different ones just to
What
I
is
get a
what
lot of
does a
things.
quinacridone red look like? Is it a cool red?
It depends of where you put it next to, obviously,
Well,
but
yeah,
look, I'm
fair
gonna
enough.
show you.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a cool red. It's not warm. So I don't know if you can see, I have it right here. I was just painting. This is the cadmium medium red, and
Okay.
that's the quinacridone red. It's a lot
Is
more
that
saturated.
quinacridone magenta right above it?
No, there's no quinacridone magenta. Actually, this one here was mixed with quinacridone magenta. So see
Okay.
how much purple it
Yeah, it's
is?
purple. Yeah.
This one is like more quinacridone red.
Okay.
It's very saturated.
So what's that
Yeah,
third red or the fourth red up? Is that alizarin crimson?
this is alizarin crimson. Yes,
Okay,
alizarin
so what
crimson.
is the
And I
color in
use,
between the two?
look,
The
I'm
right.
gonna bring the tubes. I'm gonna bring you the
Yeah.
tubes so you can see them because it's easier. I think it's
Yeah.
way easier so you can see here. I'm gonna show you all the ones, well, I have so many, but I have a lot. Okay, so this is a new one for my palette. It's permanent crimson. Wait,
Okay,
do you
hold it in
see
the
it? No,
center. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
here.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Permanent crimson.
basically alizarin crimson, just
It's a alizarin crimson. This
light
is a
fast.
alizarin crimson. Yes, but the difference is that this is a lot. If you see it by itself, the value, the how dark it is a lot darker than this one, and this one is way more saturated. So that's
Really?
the difference. Yes, way more
Is that
saturated.
Gamblin version permanent alizarin crimson or just
It
alizarin crimson?
no, it's permanent.
Okay.
So it's safer than the
Yeah.
other one, I think, over time.
Yeah.
And then I have the quinacridone red. I have it in Williamsburg and M. Graham, those two.
Are they about the
And
same?
they are about the
Okay.
same. Is the M. Graham is more, it's softer, like more liquidy.
Yeah.
This one is thicker if you want to use like big brush strokes. This is easier to move around.
Right.
And this is another one that I've been using, Parallel Red. Pyrrole red. How do you
red,
say
I
it?
guess. I don't know how
Yeah,
to pronounce that either.
here.
Okay, come the other way. The
This
other way.
way.
It's
There you go.
backwards.
There.
Everything's backwards. Yeah. Okay.
There. Oh, well. Yeah, this is more like it's a kind of like a cadmium red, like that medium kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. And then
Do you also
I
have
have
lots
like
of
the oranges.
blues and greens?
I have a lot of greens. Yeah,
A lot of greens.
I have like from sap green, I have viridian, phthalo green, olive green, permanent greens. I have this one that is being one of my to-go greens that is actually from Winston and Newton. It's a phthalo deep green
Mm-hmm.
that is not so saturated as a phthalo green. So it's a lot more earthy and bluish. So I don't have to be always adding like a raw amber and ultramarine blue or something for that. But the color that I have the least, that I only have 3 colors, and at this moment I've only been using 2, is blues.
Same here.
I have ultramarine blue and phthalo blue.
What is it about blues?
And
You just don't need a lot of blues. Like I also have a huge palette, but I'm pretty much only use ultramarine blue. I mean, sometimes I'll bring in a different blue, but for the most part, I've got this ginormous palette of maybe 30 colors, and yet ultramarine blue is kind of the go-to blue. Why is that? It's interesting.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I think the type of images that you're painting, because I'm sure that if you were to paint ocean or like water, I'm sure you will use more, or skies. But
Maybe.
when you're painting like the figure, And I don't know, like in nature in general, I see blue, like of course in all my skies, but when I paint the leaves and all of that, it's the blue appears in the reflective light of the sky in the object. That's
Mm.
where the blues go. So I have a color that actually have like a couple of colors that I mix myself. So let me show you. They look like this. And I get my tubes, like empty tubes,
Mm.
and then I mix them so there are like some purple, some
Oh, you
like more
pre-mix.
bluish
It's a
light.
custom color.
Yes, so a lot of the colors that I continually mix in my palette, I also mix them in a big amount. Like I have my optical blacks pre-mixed, the cool one and the warm one, and
What
from
are
like
some of your optical
flesh
black
tones.
combinations?
The most common one is Alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and raw amber, burnt amber. Sorry, burnt amber.
Really? Have
Yes,
you ever
those three.
tried oh, now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Parylene red?
Pyroline red. This one?
Yeah.
Oh no, pyrrole red. It's not
No,
this
not
one, right?
Pyro, Parylene.
No, no,
It's
no.
like the
I never.
color, the best way to describe it is like blood. It's like the color of blood. And to me, it's the most
Um,
primary, it feels like the most primary red, the most neutral red, but it's very chromatic. But if I mix that with phthalo green, it makes the most
mhm.
beautiful black. It's so freaking dark. Like I can't get a
Ooh.
darker dark with any black. Like with a
Mhm.
black out of the tube, I can't get a darker dark than Parylene and phthalo green.
Oh yes,
And it's
yes.
nice because you can push it warmer with the Parylene and cooler with the phthalo green. Anyway, I just
Yeah.
wondered if you had tried that because you said you mixed
No.
optical, pre-mixed optical blacks.
No, I used to do an optical black with alizarin crimson and um, phthalo green
Mm-hmm.
before,
That's going to be a
and I
really
even
cold one.
very cold, and I
Yeah.
even use sometimes like dioxazine purple to even make it even darker. But I don't like the coolness of it, and also the darkness of it, because my paintings don't have almost never they have black, and like not even close to thinking that is black. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
optical blacks are optical blacks because if you see them together with some other things, you can be like, oh, this is black. But in my paintings, if I use optical blacks, most of the time is even like a little bit transparent.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the color inside of that. So if it's in a tree, the color will be more green, and I wouldn't use an optical black. I will use that the phthalo deep green one that I have. So you see that it's green.
Right.
And if it's in a watermelon, it will be my optical black with the alizarin crimson that will show that it's a dark watermelon.
Yeah.
And I do that because I used to love painting from observation, and what I saw is that no matter no, unless you're in a very dark environment, but in my paintings are very light, like they're
Yeah.
supposed to be outdoors. So no matter how much shade do you have in any of the local colors there are in your setting, the shadow, the darkest shadow, with your bare eyes, you will see the color. It's
Right.
never black. You will
Right.
see it in the light that I use, that I try to represent in my paintings.
No, that
But
makes perfect sense. Yeah.
in the photos, no. In the photos, no. Sometimes you see and it's just black, like
Right.
there's no color that you could add. So I just try to think when I look at the pictures, because I do use photos for the ceremony pieces. I just see like, oh, where is the shadow? It's in a watermelon, it's in a pear, it's in, what? And then I include that color in there to not have any dead areas. Like everything is
Mm-hmm.
alive. Yeah.
No,
So
that
it
makes
feels like
perfect
you're
sense.
looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love having a really dark black because oftentimes I'm painting figures indoors. So I want to get
Yeah.
really shadowy, moody quality to it. But
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly. Yeah.
interested
Indoors.
if you ever try Parylene, I'd be curious if you liked it because it is
Yeah.
like it is one of my favorite colors on my palette.
I'm gonna write it down
Yeah, I'm
because
not
I love
suggesting it
finding new
because you know
colors.
what you're doing. I'm just saying I'd be
Yeah.
curious what you thought of it. And I'd also be curious what you thought of it with phthalo green.
Yeah.
Because when I discovered that
Yeah.
like 2
Big.
years ago, it was game changer for me. It was like,
Oh,
this is the
nice.
best black in the world.
Oh, yeah, no, I would love to try it because anyways, I mean, if you have an optical black, you can always light it up.
Yeah, you can.
However,
Yeah.
and I use a lot of my canvases are with a color already behind before I start painting, usually
Right.
pink or some warm color. So even I sometimes I just thin it down and that color will show through.
Hmm.
Um, but also optical blacks are great to mix them with light colors to just make a gray or something like that. So that is not like dead. So
Right.
yeah, I'm curious about it. I'll
Do you ever
definitely check
use
it out.
black at all? Like actual
No,
black?
no,
Never.
no, no, never. Like I never. I don't even have a tube. No.
I'm not surprised. I would
Yeah.
never have been able to spot the influence of black in your paintings, but
Yeah, no, I don't. If there is a tube here, is my husband. He's an artist too, so he uses it. Even like raw umber, I don't like it. It's like too, I don't know, like without taste for me. Like I used to
yeah,
use it before to use it before. Now it's like burnt umber I use the most.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that what you just said in passing makes me kind of curious. I've always wondered about this because I'm also married
Mhm.
and my wife is not an artist. And I've even thought about doing a series where I interview married artists because
That would be cool.
you guys fascinate me. Like
Yeah.
like what is it
Why?
like being married to another artist? How does that work for you guys?
Oh, I don't know how it is for other people, but I don't know. I think it's awesome. I've been married before this, but well, for not that long, but I married somebody else before,
Hmm.
and it didn't work out, obviously. And we're like very happily married, and I think the fact that he understands what I am, right? Because being an artist is just, we're like different creatures. We're not
Yeah.
in the same system that other people are. Our work is not seen as maybe like a real work for some people, like a real job. Or if it is, it's just for like limited people understand it. The fact of like being, I don't know if it happens to you, but I think about my art most of the time. Even like
Hmm.
it's not that I'm like obsessively thinking about it, but if I go to a trip or something, I paint nature, so I'm like, wow, this is perfect, and I start thinking and I write down things. It's like my creative mind goes with me everywhere, and maybe that's not something normal for other people. Maybe it's boring for other people. I don't know, but my husband is like just loves to talk about things like that, and
Hmm.
I can tell him my ideas, and he can say like, "Oh, that sucks," like that's so kitschy, or like, "Oh, that's a
I hope
great
he's a little more
idea," or that.
sensitive than that though.
Yes. No, no, he's like super honest, and me too.
Man,
Like
okay.
that's
You
how
must
it
have a
needs
thick
to be.
skin.
No, no, no. It's perfect for me because I don't know, like who else is gonna tell you those things if it's not him? So, and of
Hmm.
course, sometimes I really trust my idea and I'm not gonna listen to him. He's not like the one that tells me yes or no. I just choose what I do. But what I mean is that having another, like other eyes, like he, for instance, would say, but I don't know, this doesn't look like your work sometimes, right? And
Hmm.
he will be more like he will just like ground me, and then I can be like, yes, maybe it doesn't, so maybe I'm going to do something else anyways. I don't care if it looks like my work because this is a new body of work, right? I would not listen to that voice, but then I could see what he meant and try to find it in myself, because like when you get a feedback from anybody, you don't just take it in and listen to them and change the whole thing, right? You listen to the things that really resonate with you,
Hmm.
and there are things that is hard to see as like as humans as we are, like any criticism. Sometimes we don't see things that we do that are annoying, that I don't know, like
Hmm.
normal things in life that somebody needs to tell us, and then we can realize that it's true, and if you want to work on it, you can fix it. And here's the same thing, like sometimes I have too many ideas, like way too many, and I want to switch from one to another, and I think it's normal when you're creative, you just, your brain just keeps going. And yeah, and I think having an eye that sees, and also he helps in many things. Uh, from like stretching a canvas to when he's shopping with my son, he's like, "Oh, I'm next to the store. Would you like something from, I don't know, from like the oil section?" And I'm like,
Would you
"Oh,
like
do you
some Paralyn
find?"
Red?
Exactly, literally, yes. He's like, "I
Yeah.
found like a cool, I don't know." He actually the other day he messaged me. He's like, "I found this cool chronacrodome magenta that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have. Like, do you want me to get it?" I'm like, "Yes." How cool is that to
Yeah, that
have
is pretty
somebody,
cool.
knowing the things that you like. So yeah, it feels great. Then you have to interview him and see if it feels
I
great for
know,
him
right? Now
to
I'm
be
sure
married to
I
me.
have a feeling he's pretty happily married. Yeah, well,
Let's see.
I'm also happily married, but I got to be honest with you, my wife,
Mhm.
I feel for her because you had said earlier that artists are different creatures, and
Mhm.
and I hate to admit that that's the reality,
Mhm.
but my poor wife, she calls my career my mistress, you know. And it's just
Yeah.
because that's all I can do. I'm not happy unless I'm working. And
Mhm.
so I find that that's hard on her because she's like, how come you don't want to just sit around and do X or Y? And I'm like, oh, I gotta be creating. I can't help it. I have to be creating, you know,
Mm.
it's tricky.
Oh, Jeff, I promise you, I feel so like connected to that because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Even though my husband is an artist, we have that same conversation. Like he's way more like, I don't know how to say, but like he can just separate things. It's like, oh, it's 6 p.m. He calls it shut down complete. Shut
There's
down
no
complete.
such
Like,
thing for me. You don't shut
oof,
down.
yeah, it's hard. Phew, like I promise you, before I used to paint until my eyes were getting like closed, like
Yeah.
that level. And then since I started dating him, we married and everything without kids, and then we started going to bed together or like to watch TV or do something. And
Mm-hmm.
but I'm that kind, like I love to work out, I love to hike, I love to have friends and party and all of these things. I love all of that. I'm very social. But there is no one time, I swear, that I'm in my studio painting and an activity is coming up, any working out, my family's coming, any. There's no one time that I'm like, oh, great, I'm gonna finish and I'm out of here. No, no.
Yep.
Always I'm like, oh, why
Exactly.
did I do this?
Oh
And then
my gosh.
always, and then I finish and I get dressed and then I have a great time. I have a great time afterwards. But it's weird. I don't know. I don't
My
know
extended family
why.
says to me, they get really frustrated with me. And I'm probably friends too, but they're not as vocal because I'll
Yeah,
just show up at stuff 2 hours late. Like
yeah,
I can't walk away. And
yeah.
so people just, my brother got really frustrated with me at some point. He's like, Jeff just never shows up. Like he just won't
Mm,
show up. And it's like, I know it's a problem, but
yeah,
it's just, it's just like, I couldn't walk away. I was in the middle of a project. I can't walk
yeah.
away.
Yeah, I
It's
understand. I
brutal.
understand. I have that same feeling. No, it's not a problem because I do walk away and I set up alarms. I set up an alarm. I have to say I've been late to things.
Yeah.
My husband says like, let's meet at this time and I'm 10 minutes late because I was just, it's just one petal, one more thing. But it took in my head, it was a second, but then you know how it is. It takes long, like 10 more minutes. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm late, like little late, but I do set up alarms now. And I have a method now where before it used to be like, oh, I have to clean my brushes and that will take a long time, will add extra time. But
Yeah.
now I don't know if this is helpful for you or any of the listeners here. But what I do is I have a tray with baby oil
Yeah. I do the same
and
thing.
I just throw them in there and I'm like, okay, it's done. And as soon as I put them there, I'm not gonna get them out to clean them again. So I'm like, just done. They're wet, so I leave and then I start
But
going.
for the listeners, I know you know this, but for the
Yeah,
listeners,
yeah.
you have to get all that baby oil out of the brush the next day. You can't put it in your
Oh
paint.
yes, Yes,
It
yes,
won't dry.
yes.
Your paintings won't dry.
They won't dry. You know
Yeah.
what I use now? Like
Yeah.
that jar that has the metal piece in the middle to clean the
Yeah.
brushes like that.
Yeah.
So now with more time, I have the baby oil there and I clean them just like that, and I dry them really well. And that's the way I clean them. And then I clean them pretty well, and I put them on a plastic bag anyways for the next day. But this way they're already clean. I don't have to worry the next day. They're already like dry and all of that.
Yeah.
And I
How
have like a
often
jar
do
of
you
turpentine.
like clean your brushes? Like actually use solvent?
It depends because sometimes I don't, for like until I finish a painting. But
Yeah, same.
usually it's by section. So let's say if I'm gonna paint, I don't know, I'm gonna move this a little bit. If I'm gonna paint that lady over there, if
Yeah.
I do all the oranges, I mean all the background, then I might clean them to do the oranges and not have any green, so I don't get like everything muddy. But yeah, by section, I would say it's like that.
Hmm.
I've been doing Jeff's online mentorship program for about a year now, and it is awesome. Everything is online, super streamlined. If you can be there, I mean, you have the ability to talk to him once a week and he can review your work and help you. If you can't be there, it's pre-recorded. You can go back and even re-watch things if you missed something during class or couldn't be there. So the online portion of it is almost better than real life because you can always go back to it, which is awesome. The demos are recorded. It's just like all available whenever you need it. And I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 and my time is limited and it's also very interrupted. And so to be able to go back has been clutch for me. And you get to work with Jeff HEIN, who's awesome. He's tough. The assignments are simple, but difficult, and they're difficult to make us all better. And he's able to give us these assignments, coach us through it, help us stay excited to progress. And so it's just been a great experience. I am so grateful that he has been willing to take time away from his own art to offer all of us to have it. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's amazing.
To learn more about how you could have me as a personal mentor, check out the link to HEINatelier.com in the show notes or video description.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just when the tray, I also have a tray, when it gets so full of brushes that it's impossible to find the brush that you want. And then I have all of them cleaned at that point.
Yes. Yeah. I did that before. Like the same thing. It was too much and I cleaned them. Yeah. Also, I feel like they could get ruined if they're there for too long. Not the
I think
brushes
it's
itself,
good for
but
them.
like this. I mean, like they start getting in like this
Oh,
part.
in the ferrule. Yeah. Or yeah, up
Yeah.
in the, yeah.
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 So I try to take care of my brushes. Like these, like for instance, they start getting like the wood starts getting
Oh, you got them
kind of
way
like,
in
I
there.
don't.
You got them way in there in the
Yeah.
oil. So,
I mean, the thing is when they are too many and they
yeah,
start
it's
getting on
true.
top, you have to add more, you know?
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
I've been
true.
in
Yeah,
that
you're right.
mountain of brushes.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true. Man, I'm impressed that you're what, I think 11 years younger than me. You're 39, going to be 39.
39. I'm
And you
gonna
figured
turn.
out your schedule better. And I'm still at 50 years old showing up 2 hours late for dinner, 2 hours late for parties. Like I gotta grow up. But it's
Yeah,
challenging
no,
for me.
it's
Really challenging.
challenging. I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. It's just like it's like I have to say, like it's like my priority. I love it, but yeah, I'm punctual. I don't like for like people not being punctual with me, so I try not to either. But very few times I've been late, but not that long, not that long. But it's a pain.
It's
It's like
pretty bad.
I'm like, oh, like the same working out, for instance. Sometimes I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like if I have to work out by myself without paying anybody, I just don't do it. So now I know I have to go to CrossFit, spend a lot of money and feel bad about it, have a schedule, and I just do it. I have to do it. So things like
Mm-hmm.
that, I know that I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as coming back to the husband and wife situation, I think for my husband is the same thing. It's my studio is like my lover Like, it's like, who are you with inside of that place? Get out of here. Get out of there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're a weird creature for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's go back to your work again. So I'm curious if you're done with the fruit thing that you've been doing. Is this it? Are you now moving on to this imaginative stuff? I mean, obviously there's fruit in it, right? But it's not the same.
Yeah. No, it's not the same. My bodies of work change, and they are not like by like a thing that I do, oh, this is the year, like this year I do this year I do that. Because, for instance, I'm working on now in a ceremony piece that is going to go to,
yeah, right behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to Ibiza to an art fair there.
So you're okay with bouncing from style to style?
Yeah, because I don't think of it as like I'm a different person now, and this is what I do now. These are ideas and ways of communicating an idea. So I go back and forth. For instance, my fruit portrait series, the round fruits, that is an ongoing series. Every year I make some. I find fruits that I've never seen, or like the most beautiful orange I've seen in my life, and I'm like, I'm gonna paint that one. And like every year, like from different countries. I love doing those. And all the other paintings, I feel like I put them together. If you see my website, they go together as collections. But some of them are from 2015 and other ones are from 2020. Like, yeah. And they're very different. If you see all of the bodies of works, I have some of them that are, some people, if they see it, they can think that are my pieces. Like for the palette. For instance, these ones are more like my palette.
That one's cool.
And thank you. Yeah, I think they all have I don't know, like they're magical. Some of them are more I would say like more, I don't know if real is the right word, but like you can kind of feel more familiar to them. Like for instance, that one over there is a lot more spiritual, like as a feel, it has a feeling to it.
How do you come up with this stuff? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so interesting though.
So when you were asking, how do you come up with your ideas? And I said, it depends.
Yeah.
So the ceremony pieces came like that. But for instance, this one is literally, as you said, as an example, like I will do like a meditation exercise where I will close my eyes and I'll imagine something, and then I'll just go and draw like a tiny little thumbnail drawing, or like a big one in a sketchbook.
Is it in color? Because your work is so much about color. Yeah.
Yeah, nope. The drawing of that one was just like that. Let me see if I can find it here in my sketchbook. I think it was just maybe marker. I don't know. I have it somewhere here. But usually it's not with color. Usually it's just I use either a pen or a pencil. Look. Oh yeah, it was in color, but the color didn't have anything to do with it.
Right. So yeah, I get this. It's basically just to remind you of the image that was in your head.
That was in my head. Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And for instance, the one of the, let me see, I think you had there one of the, an olive tree I have here.
Yeah.
Is this one, but not this one.
Yeah.
So
to be clear though, the image in your head is more resolved.
Yes.
Okay.
This is just like, I'm not going to spend time describing the thing in here. I just do it on the paint, in the canvas.
Gotcha.
Like, see, here is the egg.
Yeah.
The egg piece. This other one is the one of the
lungs
of the lemon. Yeah. Here's the orange one. See, like I have tiny ones also.
It's so
like
great to
tiny.
see in your head, so to speak. That's the great thing about sketchbooks.
I love it. I love sketchbooks. I have many stuff like for my ideas that I haven't done.
Is that one of these right here?
Which one? Oh, actually no. The ones I have here in my studio, I think, did I do? Yes, I had some of those too.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You can't see the monitor. This one right here. This one right here.
Yes. Let me see. I think those were those. Yeah, some of
Okay.
them. Yeah, you can see that in there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Man, you have some imagination.
Yeah,
Jeez.
thank you. These are the ones more like the ones in my studio now.
Okay.
These ones, the ones with the fruit, the orange fruits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is that I voted.
I know. I saw that.
Finally.
Wait, but you voted before. You
Happily.
must have drawn those when you were in
Before.
America.
Yeah, I was in the US just before I came. But see, those
Wait, are
are
you so
the
you
ones
are
in
so
the
you dual citizen now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
good for
I'm
you.
a Chilean American.
All right, well, back to your art. Let's look at some of your other categories here.
Yeah,
All right,
no
so
problem
tell
at all.
me about this. I have a theory, but I might be wrong. Tell me about this.
Please
Oh
tell
no,
me your
it is
theory
fertility.
first.
Fertility, my theory's right. It's obvious.
It's obvious. Okay.
Okay, so we're talking
Nice.
sperm and egg here, snake and fruit. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
What an
A lot
interesting
of
idea.
these paintings, the I call them the calling.
Mm-hmm.
This series was born during COVID and
Mm-hmm.
2020. Yeah, that I started the series, and I was living in the Catskills in that time in New York, upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, we moved there before the pandemic started. We decided to go there. So we left our apartment. We were doing some residencies, and then we moved to the Catskills. And all these series, as you go through them, and they are all like about balance, and they're kind of like mandalas of fruits, flowers, and some of them are more magical, like this one here, and more obvious, and other ones are more like with elements that I saw during that time, or some natural elements that reminded me of something. But they talk about the cycle of life and how, like, some of them are more realistic in that way. Like, for instance, there are figs with the fig wasps that pollinate the figs, so like that go around them. And yeah, but they're all kind of like with that composition of like looking very straightforward to the center and then circling the painting around, finding things.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's fertility, like I think all about fertility, this
So
one.
you
Yeah.
were pregnant during COVID
Yes,
with
I
your
got
first
pregnant.
child?
My first and only, yes. I
Wow.
got pregnant. I think I learned that I was pregnant at the end of February of 2020, like first days of March of 2020. And I was doing an art fair in New York, a spring break art fair. I was like lifting sand and doing things, and then I guess I knew that I was pregnant. And the day after, they started talking like a lot more about COVID and the masks and all of that. Um, so yeah, I
Was
was.
it difficult? I mean, you were in New York area, so it was pretty crazy there. Difficult being pregnant and giving birth during that time?
Well, I moved to the Catskills.
Oh, I'm
Like when
sorry. I forgot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
moved to the Catskills, but I would say I was maybe 3 months pregnant when we moved to the Catskills. The first other month I was doing a residency.
Okay.
Um, that it was through the New York Academy of Art at West Nottingham Academy. It's like an Eric Fischel residency. He studied there, so
Yeah.
he throws this residency. So I was there for a couple of months teaching, and yeah, and then we moved to the Catskills, like completely isolated, in the forest. We were living in the forest, so it was the best place you could live during the pandemic. I can't say that it was hard. I mean, I think it was hard for many other people,
Mm-hmm.
but way easier to be in the open because our house was a tiny house in the middle of the forest. So we would go for walks every day. I had a garden.
Sounds
I
amazing.
planted watermelons, sweet potatoes, like you name it, like all the stuff. It was beautiful. I had a great experience. I feel sad sometimes that I was pregnant in COVID because nobody saw me pregnant. I didn't have that, that I
Oh, that
always
is kind of a
dream,
bummer. I'm
you
sorry.
know, that I
Yeah.
had that dream of like being in the subway in New York and like people giving me the seat, like
Mm-hmm.
having that kind of I don't know, seeing your friends and family, but I mean, it was what it was, and it was
Mm-hmm.
great. I think it was good. Who knows? Maybe it would have been like nicer to be close to family, but in another way, I was totally calm. I will paint every day. I worked so much when I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
People said like, oh, when you're pregnant, you will feel lazy and I don't know, it's uncomfortable and all these things. And like, I didn't feel anything. I
Oh, you
mean,
were
I
one of
felt
those
great.
women.
I
My
felt
wife has a
great.
cousin like that who just
Uh-huh.
loves being pregnant. She feels better when she's pregnant.
Oh yeah,
That
I felt
wasn't
great.
my
I
wife.
would do it again. No,
Really?
yeah, I would do it again. And
Good for
I
you.
painted in like I was sitting in like those Pilates balls,
Mm-hmm.
and because my pelvis did hurt when I was like standing too long or sitting too long, so those bouncy things will help. And I will just sing and hold my belly, like feel company the whole time. I loved it. It was
Mm,
amazing.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I
So,
gave birth there
first
too.
of all, I'm just curious, is it a boy or girl?
A
Boy, and
boy.
he's about 5 years
Yeah,
old now.
he's 4.5. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, how do you
Yeah.
balance being a parent and being a professional artist?
It's hard, has been hard,
Yeah.
has been difficult, but for the same reason that we are talking about, because I love painting and this is what I like the most to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had the dream in my head that I will have my son here and we'll paint together, as like you can see in Instagram videos sometimes of mothers like making a mess in their studio. My work is not about making messes of any kind. Like I'm organized as hell. I love my paintings to be color in order of everything and my brushes, all of that. So
Yeah, you're
that doesn't
definitely a
work for me.
mathematician engineer.
Yeah.
Let's go full circle. Yeah.
Sure.
That's how my
So I
studio is
can't.
too. It's like everything
Yeah.
has to be in the perfect. I can't even
Yeah.
function unless everything is in order.
Yes, I'm the same way. I have
Mm-hmm.
to have everything, where it goes, and I don't like the mess. I'm
Mm-hmm.
organized. So I earlier, like we just moved to this apartment, and I have my studio separated, and it's the first time I have a home studio since my son was born.
Mm-hmm.
Only when he was born and he was like a tiny baby in that forest house, I had
Mm-hmm.
my studio there in the house. But we moved out of that house before he turned one.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't walk or anything in that house. But then I had my studio outside of the house, and I divide those two worlds completely, like completely. I don't have anything like he didn't go to the studio at all before. He will go and see, but like I will hold him because the boys are nuts. They will throw
Mm-hmm.
things, they'll push things. So, and I will bring him to the studio to do some exercises, some things, but always trying to, I mean, he will not see me paint that much. And now that he turned 4, he's more like I let leave my studio door open, and he has his own studio here. I can show you.
That's
He has the
adorable.
studio. Yes, he has. Look, I'm gonna show you because
Okay.
it's very cute. Wait 1 minute. So here, like I have some materials, and that's his
Oh, that's too
table
cute.
with his stuff
Whoa, what a
that's
nice
organized.
view. Holy crap.
Yeah, and he has I mean, I have a pretty good view too. It's pretty cloudy today. But so then, and I paint right here, and he can see me paint,
Mm-hmm.
although he's not so patient. I mean, he's 4 years old, so his activities last 20 minutes the most. And yeah, we do a lot of crafts, and he loves to paint. He loves to art. Um, and but yeah, it's separated. It's not like I'm painting and he's painting. No,
Yeah.
I'm with him. I'm like with him. We're doing something together. I do my own thing. He does his own thing, but it's not like my work. But he
Yeah.
comes in and out with his father, like when we take turns
Mm-hmm.
to work, and they come in, and he's like, "Oh, wow, now she has a face," and he's like, "How do you do this? Is this wet?"
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But yeah, the balance is just to try to spend the right amount of time with him and not be in my studio the whole time. Of course, that's one of the things, because as I said before, it's like the thing I love to do. And yeah, having him has really helped me to see my art as one of my powers, but also as something that can take away from my real life. You know, like I feel like since he's born, I'm more able to see the real life and this other real life, but they're parallel. They coexist. But for me to be able to do what I do, I need to be in my real life as well. Like I need to get ideas from that real life. I need to feel happy. My heart needs to be big. I need to be patient and all these things that you learn when you're out and you know and share with others. So that he has helped me a lot too. I mean, him being alive and being part of me has helped me to do that a lot more. Be more playful as well. Since he's born, I don't have that much time in my studio. So that shift of work, of like that detail obsessive work, appeared just after that, because I wasn't able to pull up, like to finish some pieces, like so complex pieces as those with like in such a short amount of time. That's something that I need to spend a lot of time to make those kind of work. So I started working on things that were as powerful as those images, but that the power came from something else, from the maybe the feeling, the light, the magical factors. I don't know, some
So is
other
having
kind
a
of languages.
So is having a son one of the reasons you shifted over to imaginative work?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. And but not because of my son. It was like two things. One, I didn't have the time to make this other kind of works, right? Like
Right.
it would take me too long. So I had to be like more strategic. So I could, instead of making that work that I felt like it needed to be like that, I was like trying to find other images that could accept that looseness, right? Like that other kind of language. And at the same time, when you have a son, I feel like it's a love that you can't explain with words. Like you have to have a son. Like you just love them unconditionally, and you do want to be with them. You do want to hang out and see them learn and all of these things. And also like all the things that you think are important for you or for your career or your life are not anymore. They're like, doesn't matter. Like this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. So I started seeing my work as like what was my goal with my art? Like what exactly the paintings give me, or what do I want the paintings to give others? So that imaginative world is something that has lived with me forever since I started making art. That's what I did when I was 15 or 14. That's what I really love. But I didn't have the tool set to make those things. So they look bad. They would look like a kid's painting. And and I remember a long time ago, one of my interviews when I started doing well in New York, somebody asked me, what is your goal? And I said, and I don't know what I said it, just said it, that it was to be able to make a painting that has the feeling of my dreams, like something in my head, like but I needed to learn more to be able to do that. And I think right now I have a lot more skills, and my tool set is way bigger, so I'm more able to do that. I wouldn't say that it's exactly as how I imagine, because it's like a dream. Like you dream it, you talk it, you say it, and then it changes. So it's never like that. But yeah, I realized that that's something that I'm looking to do with my art, and I didn't know what I was waiting for. I was just waiting maybe to get better, or maybe I was afraid of not having something so real, or that looks childish, or that looked badly painted, or rushed. All those excuses in people's heads when you don't want to do something,
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, I'm just gonna do it. Let's see. And I always finished my paintings. That's one of my rules in the studio. No matter how bad it is, I always finish them until I like them. Always.
Really? You've
Yes.
never abandoned a project?
No,
Wow.
Never. All my paintings are finished until I like them. Some of them I like them more than other, of course. Some of them I don't show them because they are not cohesive with the body of work that I'm showing, but I finish them. Like they're not like
Really?
they
So
are
why
sitting.
is that? Where does that come from? That dedication to finish things?
Yeah, I don't like not finished things. I just don't like that. I don't like it in anything. Like if I start something, I like to finish, to at least do it, and then I'll decide what else to do after. But it's like not giving the opportunity to that idea, you know? Like I
Hmm.
would start ideas in my sketchbook, and then I decide if it's a good enough the idea or strong enough to make it on a painting. So then I can not continue the drawings, the sketches. But as soon as I start a painting, I do finish them,
Hmm.
like I do. So so for example, like I don't know. I like if I had and I like I will come up with an idea that I felt like it was strong enough. I would just make it, and then sometimes I didn't like it, and I will continue doing the details and stuff like that because I do love detail. So, for example, these pieces here are way more loose than the way that they're painted is. I can show you. They are like more loose, but still they have all that richness. So I work on them in specific areas. So, for example, you can see the details here,
Yeah.
and then you can see the details here. You see, it's like completely different, but it's beautiful to see how I construct the figure without having to erase this and get rid of that, without covering it. So, but
Hmm.
it has to do with the work itself because she's made of these fruits. So it's like kind of she's building up to being more defined. This one's no, like she is it's a different kind of image. She's it's real. She's not
Yeah,
this
and it's from
imaginary
observation
creature.
too.
Exactly. So I cannot do that in this one at least. Like you see that the level of details is completely different. Um,
I'm not
and the
sure
same
if
with
we
this other.
quite see it in the camera, but
No?
I'm gonna have to
Oh,
trust you on
okay.
it. Yeah.
Look, I don't know if you see this one here.
Yeah.
This is this is like a pretty big painting.
Is it which ones are
And
finished?
these are all of these are finished.
Oh, they're all
Look. Oh
finished.
no,
Okay.
the ceremony painting is not finished. But if you see
Wow.
like when you see from close, you can find all the tiny details. So some areas are more loose
Yeah,
and
there's a lot
without
of
so much of a
looseness in there.
description. Yeah. The same with the, well, here you can see the size of those. I'm working on this one still, the big one,
Hmm.
because everything needs to be perfect on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Everything depends on what kind of message I want to send and what kind of feeling I want the painting to have as well.
So this idea of finishing a painting, what
Hmm.
about the concept of cutting your losses? You know what I mean? Like, have you heard that phrase before? Cutting
No?
your losses. So, how do I describe that? Let's say that you are investing in your kid's hobby or something, and then
Hmm.
you start to realize they're not interested,
Hmm.
but you've already spent $1,000 on, let's say it's hockey. You've already spent $1,000 on hockey equipment, da 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 da. But at some point you have to make the decision. Okay, this kid's not even into hockey anymore, and I'm gonna have to continue to spend $1,000 every season to keep this thing going.
Oh, yeah,
Do
yeah,
I want
yeah,
to spend
yeah,
$1,000 every season, even though he's not even into it and he's not even going to play, or do I want to just cut my losses,
yeah,
wait, just accept that I've wasted $1,000 on this hobby and
yeah,
move on? And sometimes paintings can be that way for me, where it's like, okay, I can finish this, but maybe I should just. I know I've spent 100 hours on it, but maybe my time is better spent on something else because this is a failure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's working
I
for you.
understand.
It's working
I
for you.
understand. Yeah, I've had that feeling sometimes, like very little, but I've had that feeling. And for instance, as an example, I have to be very honest with you. I don't have that feeling so much. Like
Yeah.
I decide what I want to paint and I have a very clear idea of the things that I love and that I'll be happy making. I
Right.
know.
Right.
And if something, I've had the feel like sometimes I start something and I feel like doesn't supposed to go that way and I don't like it. Like for example, the big painting that you show earlier, that it was like a white figure in the middle with all these fruits in the side, like from my last body of work. That's a huge painting. The one that
Okay.
is
Let's pull it
like,
up.
I don't
Let's not
know.
just think about it
Yeah.
here. So
Okay.
which
Look,
area is it in?
go to last exhibitions. I think I have over there instead of in paintings.
Oh,
I just want to
latest solo exhibition?
latest solo show. Yes. Let's see. I want to, yeah, maybe in that one.
Wow, what a presentation. Congratulations. That looks
Thank
amazing.
you. Look, see the second photo because then you can see the size of that. Let me see. Oh, I think it's the second. No. One of those, like that one. Okay, you can see the size of that big painting in the middle. So
Yeah.
it's that one that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I just wanted I wanted you and the listeners to see the size because that's a pretty major piece. And I started that painting in Dubai in my residency that I had there in Tashkil.
Is it just me or the rest of you guys also get weirdly excited when you order new paint? Because I don't know about you, but when I get paint in the mail, it feels like Santa just dropped my Christmas presents off at my doorstep. With Vasari paint, my paint of choice and the podcast sponsor, it's even more exciting. And let me show you why. Because when Vasari shows up, it comes in this incredible box where each tube lays in this little compartment perfectly formed around the tube in this nice soft foam. And it's surrounded by velvet, red velvet. Now you got to ask yourself, if a paint comes so carefully protected and surrounded by red velvet, you got to wonder if this paint is worthy of royalty. It is. Vasari is. So if you haven't tried Vasari, you're seriously missing out. And the thing about Vasari, it's not only the best paint out there, it's also made by an incredible company that's been around for 30 years and knows its customer by name. Do yourself a favor, go to vasaricolors.com and order yourself some for your next painting.
Wait, how did we skip over that when we were talking about your history? You went to Dubai?
I went to Dubai.
That's kind of a
For
major detail.
Okay, yeah. For one year art residency, a pretty
Okay.
long residency.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I can
Okay.
tell you about it. Yeah. But my point was that I started the painting there. And then I felt like those figures that appeared in there, I started seeing them in there, but I knew that I wanted them to be nude. So I couldn't do that there, right? Like I cannot
Right.
have nudity in my show. And so I stopped painting it. And that image came to my head through another kind of meditation. And I did a little sketch for that.
Oh, here it is.
That
Yeah.
one, yeah. So those little like yellow and red figures, some of them are nude, like breastfeeding. And so
Okay.
I brought that painting I moved from Dubai, I moved to LA. I was there for the almost last 2 years. And I stretched that painting in my studio in stretcher bars. I hanged it on the largest wall of my studio. And that painting was hanging there for almost a year since I arrived until my show where I show this piece. That painting was taking my whole space in my studio. The painting of the fallen lemons, the oranges, all of those, I painted them on an easel in front of that painting. My husband will come to the studio and would say, "Why don't you take that painting out of there? You're not even painting it. Just take it out. Like if you don't like it, just take it." And I'm like, "Oh no, I can't. I'm gonna paint it." He's like, "It's been 6 months and you haven't painted it." And I'm like, "Yeah, the thing is, I was painting it, but like something here, something there, and I just didn't like it." And then I was like, "No, I just need to have it there because I need to see it. And one day I will come and I will see it and I will know what I need to do. But if I just put it away and I don't see it, I can't." Like that's what in my head, that's what I felt. And I just knew that this was an important painting and that I needed to get it done and get the feeling that I had the right feeling in the little sketch that was nothing. It was just colors basically. But in the real piece, I just couldn't do it. Maybe it was too big. I don't know. And yeah, so it was there for a whole year. And then I think the last 2 months, maybe I started painting here and there. Plus I painted the other pieces. But finally I was able to finish it, adding mushrooms, the detailed mushrooms in the bottom, species of flowers and fruits that I like, and like pulling out these images. And in person looks amazing because it's so big that you go close and you can see the details. It was hard to photograph because it's so dark and also so saturated.
So you're
But
totally
yeah,
happy with it now.
yes, I am
I
I'm like so happy. I needed to, and it was there for a long time. I just couldn't let it go. Maybe it's something like an OCD of my side. I don't know if it's good for everyone because,
I
as
don't
you
know.
said, sometimes you have to realize what you can do and what you can't. I mean, if you don't like it anymore, I mean, taste changes.
Yeah, I envy your, I don't even know an adjective to describe what I'm hearing from you. It's like a faith and confidence in your potential and potential outcomes. Like, I mean, if I had a painting I didn't like sitting in my studio for a year, it would discourage me. But you have this fortitude to just keep moving forward. That's really remarkable.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, I mean, maybe is that, or maybe is also that I don't know, I saw the painting and I just didn't know what to do, I just didn't know what to do, but I
But how did you
knew
know you would be
that
successful? Where does that confidence come from?
I didn't know. I didn't know either, but I knew that I had to finish it. And this is my
Huh.
mantra, okay? This is my mantra. Like I always say, I'm gonna finish it. Or like for instance, like sometimes I'm stressed. Like now I have these shows coming up in June, and my family or whoever asks me, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a little behind, but I'll finish like I always do." This is what I say to myself. I will finish like I always do. And that painting, I knew I wanted to show it. This painting is the one that gave me the idea for my whole solo show. It was my central piece, and I knew where I wanted to hang it. That was the only painting
Mm.
I knew where it was going to go. So, for example, if you go to you had my Instagram page open, right?
Yeah.
Or through the website you can go look. Like go to one of the first one that is pinned, like those ladies taking a. Okay, so there you can see the entire show, and that main gallery had, like, as soon as you enter, you
Wow,
could
that is
see that piece.
huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it had that piece. So I knew exactly where it had to go, and like all the other pieces will speak to that painting because that painting was called Life, Dead, Life Again.
Yeah.
And my show was called Origin Stories. So it was about like transformation and about life events that transform your life and how we have so many chances like living. So it had to do about like motherhood and I don't know, rebirth and other like things that you will see in the paintings, maybe not, but they all had that feeling. Um,
Hmm.
so I just couldn't not do it. I couldn't. And I just started painting it. That was it. I will paint it and paint it and paint it. And we all know what we like about our work. We know we're able to criticize other people's art. So sometimes I will put myself in like the critique shoes and will
Mm-hmm.
be like, this is too detached from this. The main figure in the center doesn't look like it's glowing. I don't know, the roots look cartoonish, like things like that. Boom, and I will write it down, and then I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna work in the roots to not look cartoonish. I'm gonna look at a real root.
Where do you write it
You know,
down? Do you write it in your sketchbook
um,
or
yeah,
post-its next to it?
I have a different book that is like things like this, like my to-do list, and then I check the things that I did, my gym schedule, so one day I can go, you know, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I write things here. So it's not a sketch. It's not, so I don't leave my nice sketchbook full of
Notes.
criticism.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's what I do. I just put all the things that I don't like or that needs to be fixed. Like if I'm going to a student studio and say, "Do you want me to tell you what doesn't work in my opinion?" And boom, 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 you tell them, "This is what I do," and then I start fixing because working from imagination is hard.
So
Like I can
hard.
imagine things, but if I know how a route is, but like if I don't have the right lighting and everything, it can look like childish or like or like kind of I don't know, not good. So I look at the reference that can be good, but it doesn't look like a photo. I don't want the painting to look like a photograph. I want it to look like from another world. So I have to be careful of like using the reference until that point that looks with volume and like more real, that it describes the route well, but not to fall into this photographic realistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then so on and so on, like the light, the same thing with the light. I was like the figure in the center. I'm like, I have to darken everything around to pull up to make that light be a lot more
Do
powerful.
you glaze in
I
situations like that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, full of glazings, that painting,
So
full of
you're an
glazing.
indirect painter then, for the most
I
part.
paint, no, I paint directly. Most of my work is direct paint, and then I glaze. I mean, it's like half and half, I would say. It finishes with glazes, yeah.
All your paintings
I
finish with
finish.
glazes, or
No, not all of them.
so
For
when you say
instance,
you
this
paint
one's
direct, do you paint alla prima in like
alla prima
alla prima? So wet into wet, one sitting in a section.
in a section, yes, wanting to wet until it's done. But I usually, when I finish my
Mm-hmm.
painting like that, I do a like I do direct glazings, like in some areas. Sometimes in the whole painting if it's needed. But for example, like if I want some areas of the painting to look cooler, like more, I don't know, towards the
Mm-hmm.
face, I will do like more like blues or things like that.
Right.
I do a lot of, or even if like the fruit I wanted to look deeper, like with the shadows I will do with glaze, even though I already added the shadows in direct paint. But I feel like there were not too, the contrast wasn't strong enough. I would do glazing.
Okay.
Um,
Do you ever
but it's
paint
like
wet
a
on dry?
way,
In other words,
yeah,
direct on top of direct?
yes,
You do. So
yes.
you do
Also,
everything. You have no
I do
rules.
that too. No, in that matter, I don't have any rule. I will paint direct if it's necessary. A lot of sometimes I'm like, oh, this leaf. I don't know. I did some leaves in the front that they don't look good, and I will erase them. I will paint the fruits that were behind the leaves or
Mm.
something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I sand down the area, like if it's too dark, so it doesn't show through eventually. Or if it's too thick, I also sand down, or I use a razor blade, like very carefully to scratch the thickness. Um, I wipe out things completely. They're still wet.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm distracted and I'm just painting super realistic, and then I go back and the thing was misplaced or with a completely different light, and I'm like, oh God. So I just wipe it out and
Mm-hmm.
I do it again. Yeah, a lot. I do a lot of things in my poor paintings. I've even like before I used to cut them out and like reuse them. Going back to like not finishing something, the paintings that I didn't like, and I will finish anyways, but I just didn't like. I had a whole series of work where I cut them with scissors, and I collage and I create like new worlds with sections of the paintings.
What? What would you stick
And
them
I
to?
will
Other canvas or
to
panel?
other canvas, raw canvas, and then I will paint it around.
Really? Did you sew them
Yeah,
to it or did you glue it?
I only glue them. I just glue them. Yeah.
Really?
And I
Wow.
sold a couple of them actually. They are out there somewhere. They are
Wow.
cool looking. They're very crazy looking. I haven't done that again since
Yeah.
then. I hope I don't do it anymore. My poor paintings.
Wow. Man, that's great. Yeah, you really don't have any
Yeah.
rules. That's great. So how did the
Yeah.
show do, this solo show? It's so incredible. Did it sell well?
Yeah. You know what? The solo show itself, it didn't sell so well, like many other ones in this year. But then eventually, like we had an art fair, like immediately after the show was done. I mean, this show was the show that I sold the least in my whole career. It was just
It's
like
probably because they're so
very,
big.
Yeah, no, there were not so many. Like that one was a big one. It
Yeah.
opened doors for me. Like I had a museum show just after that.
Wow.
Like other kind
Congrats.
of good stuff, I think. And that piece went to the because that solo show that you saw
Mm-hmm.
was in Anna Serena Gallery,
Mm-hmm.
and then they invited me to that other solo show in Texas in the museum. And but they did sell some pieces sold, some large pieces sold also
Did you sell
in
this big
a
one?
I know that big one I didn't sell. The other large one of the women, the yellow with the yellow lemons,
Yeah.
that one sold.
Yeah. You'd have to have a
Um,
massive wall for that painting.
yeah, it's huge. You know,
Massive.
I never, when I painted it, I didn't really think of like the commercial side so much as like what I really wanted to make. And I remember I even had it in my sketchbook. I was like, this, I just want this piece to be shown in a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I wanted. And then that like it just happened. I didn't do anything about it. I just got an invitation. And then I felt so happy to see it there. And it's just an unforgettable piece for me.
Yeah. It
And then
really turned out amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
the
keep
other
glancing
pieces
over
that
because I'm looking at it on the screen on the side of me. So, yeah.
yeah, the other paintings that were I was afraid also because they're not so detailed like the other pieces. They're a lot more magical. So maybe I thought they didn't look like so much like my work. So I was afraid of that. But then, like, we went to art fairs and other shows, and they started selling anyways. So,
Oh, good.
like, maybe not in the actual show, but afterwards. So I was very happy about that. The egg painting was one of the first ones also that sold.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
Good.
I'm
That's
very
great to
happy about
hear.
that.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, but the
Man,
market is not good that right now, so I'm not
it's not.
surprised. I mean, that's what everyone says and
Yeah.
what
I
I
mean, I
hear
don't
from
know
other
because I'm
artists
not really
too.
in the market right now because what I'm working on is through a foundation. So
Oh, that's
that's why I'm not
awesome.
surprised. I'm like, I don't. So yeah, that's too
Yeah.
bad to hear that it's not doing so good right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's up and down. I think, things just change. I think also the fact that it was just before the elections,
Yeah.
it affected, but then
Everyone gets
after the
nervous.
elections, yeah, then everything went back to normal. So,
Hmm. Good.
yeah, that's good.
Well, I got to tell you, I loved your work before, but after talking to you for a couple hours, like it just went up. I didn't
Oh,
think that was possible.
oh,
Really,
thank you.
it's
Oh,
seriously,
you're
it's
so
really great
sweet.
to know
Thank
you.
you.
Really great to know
Thank
you.
you. Yes, this was great. Listen, and your work, it gives me like when I saw it on Instagram, like earlier, it's like that is really realistic, but
Mhm.
realistic in all the ways because it's not just, oh, it looks like a photo. Like you can feel the paint, the layers, the little brush
Thank
strokes,
you. That means a
and those
lot.
eyes are like juicy, and I made me my eyes tear up also. Like really, you have a gift. I mean, no wonder you don't want to leave your studio. It's
That
like
means a lot coming from you. I really appreciate you saying that.
no,
Thank you very much.
probably you probably feel like super like powerful in there,
No,
like a
I'm like every
god.
other
So why
artist.
not?
I mean, I'm
Huh?
very insecure about my work. I just had some friends come over, Micah actually, and a couple other artists.
Mhm.
So down on the painting I just finished, and then they came over and just boosted my ego, which I really needed. They're like, said some really nice things, but it's just funny, and I say that because that they said nice things because I really believe that many of us we can't really appreciate what we have. It's like looking in
Mhm.
the mirror. Most of us, when we look in the mirror, we don't see ourselves the way the world sees us, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So we only see our
yeah,
flaws, our wrinkles, our imperfections, whatever it is. Most of us, that's what we see when we look in the mirror. And it's the same with paintings. All I
yeah,
see is my
yeah.
weaknesses. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you
That's
saying
why you
that.
need to that's why you need to have people over. People over and regular people also, because
Yeah.
regular people have like very good insights. Like they can see things that sometimes we don't. We're too attached to the details.
Yeah.
Like that happened to me like a few times where I had paintings absolutely unfinished and people will not like regular people will not see the difference, like at all,
Yeah.
like between one unfinished work and a finished work. And then that really opens your eyes, like you're like, oh, I can get away without all of these. But the important thing is
Yeah,
that
I'm
you
laughing because I got to
really,
tell you a story.
well, yeah,
So
please
on
tell
that,
me.
I have for good or
Uh-huh.
for bad, and maybe I'm wrong, but I
Mhm.
actually, particularly with clients, refuse to show clients work halfway done. And here's why. Because there was this one time I had a client come over to the studio because he insisted. He's like, Jeff, I'm super excited about this painting you're doing for me. I'm super excited. Can I please come see it? And I was like, it doesn't look good now. It's not finished. It doesn't look good. He's like, I just want to see it. I just want to see it. He comes in and he's trying to be nice, but I can tell he's heartbroken, just crushed. And but he's trying not to show it. But it's so obvious. It's all over his face. Anyway, few weeks, few months, whatever. I don't remember how long it took, but when it was finally finished, of course, I invited him back, and he comes over and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh my gosh, Jeff, I am so relieved. I thought I just wasted a fortune on this painting." He's like, "I am so relieved. It was just so ugly back then. It was like," and he's just going on about how freaked out he was. I'm like, "Yeah, Greg, I knew it. I could see it in your face. This
Oh
is why
my
I don't want to show you
God.
stuff halfway done." Because lay people, I agree with you. Sometimes we push ourselves too hard because lay people don't expect as much out of us as we expect out of
Yeah.
ourselves. But at the same
Yeah.
time, often they're so ignorant of what a painting is supposed to look like halfway
It looks
finished
like it. Yeah.
that they don't
Yes.
know
Well,
what,
definitely.
yeah, they don't know what
Especially if
they're looking
we're
at.
talking about a portrait. A portrait is just like it looks like you, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like you. That's what they care more about. Like if the drawing is just like it is, like your face, they will be happy. Like even if the shadows are not right
Well,
or
in this
something.
case, you're right. But in this case, it was a religious painting. It was a biblical story he had commissioned.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh shoot.
And
Okay, okay, yeah.
it was just garbage at that point.
Oh my God.
Isn't that
Yes. Yeah,
funny?
no.
Yeah. So I have a
No,
rule
but
now.
wait.
No one can
No,
see it till it's
definitely.
done.
Yeah, no, what I was saying anyways was more like when some areas of my paintings are not finished. Like I'm talking about flowers and
Right,
I don't know,
right.
fruits in between. It's so much information that can just, pass.
Yeah, that
Like
totally makes
no, people
sense.
don't see it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah. Anyways, I think your paintings are great. Maybe you should have more people over to see the
Yeah,
reality
I
in
know.
your
I just invite Micah
studio.
over whenever I'm feeling insecure.
Oh,
Mike, I don't know if
nice.
you've heard the podcast. Micah is my
Uh-huh.
he's the art historian. I did an
Okay.
episode with him last week. Or actually
Okay, yeah.
yesterday. It went up yesterday. So
Oh, good, good.
he's the podcast historian. He talks about different artists from the past on the podcast. So,
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
well,
definitely. I'll check it out.
every podcast I always end on the same
Mhm.
question. And that question is, if you could give one piece of advice that either helped you become an artist or that you wish you had, what would it be?
Yeah. Some people have asked me this before. I think it always changes my answer,
Mm-hmm.
but something that has helped me to do my practice, and I always say that to people also, is to whatever you're doing in your art practice, even like if it is. There are two kind of artists, right? The ones that are the makers, the craftsmen that like to make the things, right? And the other ones that have like the ideas, but maybe need help, like they have assistants and other helpers. So whatever it is, whatever kind of artist you are, I think if you work on things that you're really interested in and they're close to your personal experience, is the better. Your work will come stronger. Like the close to your heart, the better. And for two reasons, because it will come like more powerful, definitely. And because the things that you know the most are the things about yourself and or the things that you're interested in the most. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that of course it will come more powerful. And also because as soon as you start doing that and you become well known and it's then you start having that, let's say that aesthetic or that kind of imagery that you make, then you will be probably stuck with it at least for a couple of, I don't know, a couple of years. So you must love it. If you do that, if you work with your interest and yourself, it's something that you will be able to keep working on without feeling trapped
Mm-hmm.
in any way. And yeah, so that's what I think. Like, I feel like a lot of artists now try to, I don't know, be responsible with their work, like try to do something that is about, I don't know, global warming or some kind of subject that's supposed to be important. But if you don't really, I don't, maybe they do care about it, but if it doesn't have that much to do with you, it's hard to that, and that emotion that comes within art, it's hard to show if it's not like close to you. So I think that's a key thing, to find something that you're really passionate about and that you know. um that's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
excellent advice. You know, and I've thought a lot about this too, because a lot of guests, not a lot, a few guests have said similar things. Like Joe
Hmm.
Paquette summed it up in Paint What You Love. And,
Yeah.
but it's so interesting because when many art schools, they push us as artists to, or art students, to find a voice or to find
Hmm.
our style. And that pressure oftentimes leads to contrived work. And because everyone's trying so
Yeah,
hard to be unique, but the irony is every single one of us is born completely unique. So if we just paint what we love, we'll be unique. Like, why are we trying so hard?
exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. And especially now, like people really think that they have to paint only, I don't know, a landscape breaking into geometrical shapes. Like that's the thing they do. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to be like that. Like I don't know, at least in my experience, I've been doing like relatively well since I started painting, and I'm not painting the same painting like over
That's
and
why I
over.
asked
I
you about
if
that. Yeah.
if you see like my like people might think that, but if they see my website, they could look and see like all the dark paintings I've done. Like in like they're about nature and the things I love anyway. So they have that strength, and I love them, but they're blue and green, like in dark, with the moon. Like some of them are in my website, other ones are with different compositions and things, but all of them are about things that I love to watch. I love
Mm-hmm.
staring into these things, into these objects. I love to see leaves and flowers and fruits, and I love to go into the my hikes and take pictures. I love to go to the market. So the whole process, I enjoy the whole thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
from imagination, images that I have in my head, and then the references that I use are things that I love as well. But people see my sometimes I've had cases where I've had a show, for instance, in New York in an art fair, completely of my work. And I will meet people, I will greet them, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Alonsa Guevara, da da da." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you make the women fruits." And I'm like, I mean, the women's with fruits. And I'm like, "Yes, yes." And what are you doing here? And I'm like, this is my work. And they're like, what? Like this? And I'm like, yes, it's mine. They like people don't recognize it at all, like zero. And then they see it, they love it, and that's it. I mean, it's different. Maybe some people will like it, or other people won't like it. Some galleries might be like, oh, she changes too much from one thing to another. But then I don't know, in those paintings, for instance, were the ones that Sheikha Latifa, this royal lady from Dubai, purchased, and she invited me to
Wow.
have that residency. So it was something like that I don't know, it was like a channel. Those pieces were like it opened a different kind of door. I'm not saying that that will happen to anybody. There was a very strange thing that happened. But what I'm saying is that I enjoy painting those paintings. Maybe nobody would have bought them. Maybe like really nobody. But I got them out of my system, and I show them anyways because I was proud of them, and I was afraid that nobody will like them or will think that it was too different. But it did happen. People thought that it was too different, but people liked it too.
Hmm.
So I think we just need to, I don't know, be afraid, but do it anyways.
Yeah. And you know what? If you
Hmm.
try and anticipate what's going to sell, you're just, the chances of you nailing it and getting it right are slim to none anyway. So you might as well paint what you love.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, that's what I would tell like my father back then. It's like because he was saying, but you sold all of these paintings. Why don't you keep making those? And I was like, but what if I make them and they don't sell? What if
Mm-hmm.
that
What if
that
people get
happens?
bored? Like, yeah,
Yeah, and they don't sell.
yeah.
Then I spent all my time making something I didn't want to do. I prefer to make these other ones. I'm happy if they sell. great. If they don't, I did something fun that I loved, and I would never regret it. Then we can find other ways to make money also, I think. So if the money is the problem, it doesn't make sense to take decisions because of money. I don't think. And you never know what's going to sell. That's the truth. There's no formula for that. Like, there will be full of rich artists. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. 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 I think it was Chuck Close that said, in fact, I'm sure it was Chuck Close, but I'm paraphrasing majorly. But he said the only reason he was successful, and he's in history books, right? So really successful, is because he was born in the right decade. If he was born a decade before or a decade after, his work, the work that he enjoyed doing, wouldn't have been fashionable. Like, the point is, you just can't know. So it's like, just like you said, paint what you love.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Alonsa. Seriously, great to meet you.
My pleasure. Yeah, it was so fun to talk to you.
It was great.
I'm gonna follow you on your Instagram, see where you're up to. Let's get let's get connected in the future. Yes, for sure.
All right, take care.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Undraped Artist Podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. And if you could, leave a comment or review. That really helps the channel. Please share the show with your friends, and if you're feeling generous, consider a monthly donation at theundrapedartist.com. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.